Dear Radiant Leo, what if I told you that the next 3 days could change everything? That what is about to unfold between June 13th and 15th has never happened to anyone else, not like this, not quite this way. Would you believe it? Because this isn't just a video. It's a divine appointment. And you didn't land here by accident. If you're watching right now, it means you've been summoned by the universe, by timing, by a whisper you may not even realize you've been hearing in your heart. There's something rare, something intense, and yes, something terrible unfolding. But terrible doesn't always mean tragic. Sometimes, the most magnificent blessings arrive wrapped in disruption. Over the next few minutes, I will walk with you through the messages encoded in the stars, the signs unfolding around you, and the silent roar awakening in your soul. These energies, these moments, they are for you, Leo. No one else. You see, from June 13th through 15, something sacred is shifting in the sky. The Sun, your ruling planet, is forming a powerful aspect with Uranus, the planet of sudden awakenings. That alignment alone has the power to tear down false identities and replace them with a deeper truth. What's coming will shake your sense of comfort, but it will also set fire to your deepest purpose. And that's why you're here. Because deep down, part of you already knows. Maybe you've felt it, the dreams that linger too long, the strange sense of anticipation, the physical signs, a racing heart, restless sleep, unexpected emotion bubbling to the surface. These are not coincidences. These are signals. And your soul has been waiting for this confirmation. So let me say this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you for being here, for trusting this moment, and for showing up for yourself. Every time you like, comment, or subscribe, you're not just supporting eternal mindfulness, you're weaving your energy into this sacred circle. You're telling the universe, I'm ready. I'm open. And in doing so, you activate the very current that pulls transformation into your life. Now, I want to hear from you. If something inside you already senses that this message is for you, leave a comment below that says, I'm ready for the shift. Not for me. For you. For your soul. For the divine energy that brought you here at this precise time. Stay with me until the end of this journey, Leo. Not because I asked. But because there is something waiting, something awe-inspiring, something spiritually seismic that only reveals itself to those who stay present. There is a part of your destiny that will only unlock when you're ready to hear what comes next. So take a breath and let's begin. When I drew the cards on the morning of June 13th, I wasn't expecting what happened. The moment my fingers touched the deck, there was a stillness in the air, as if time paused just long enough for something sacred to break through. Then, without effort, 3 cards revealed themselves in a flow that felt like breath. The Tower was the first to fall, followed by the Star, and finally, Strength, the very embodiment of you, Leo. At first glance, the Tower can be alarming. Its lightning bolt and crumbling walls speak of sudden collapse, of the old being torn down. But what if that collapse wasn't a punishment, but a purification? In the same way a forest must sometimes burn for new life to grow, our inner structures must also release their grip for something deeper to emerge. The Tower isn't chaos for the sake of pain. It's divine interruption. It shakes loose the illusions that were never truly safe, never truly real. And in that clearing, the light begins. Because immediately after the tower comes the star. And that order is no coincidence. The star never rises unless the tower has fallen. Where there was once debris and ash, there is now water, light, and silence. The kind of silence that heals. This card is a message of spiritual renewal, yes, but also of emotional alignment. It's the quiet voice of hope that says, "You're still here. And there's more for you." It reminds you that even when things fall apart, something luminous waits behind the veil of endings. And then comes strength. Not brute force. Not dominance. But quiet, dignified power, the kind that whispers instead of roars. The Strength card, especially for Leo, is a reminder that true courage isn't about fighting harder. It's about softening. About meeting fear not with resistance, but with calm. About holding space for what's uncomfortable without collapsing under its weight. That's the kind of strength that changes lives. That's the kind of strength you've been cultivating without even realizing. June 13th isn't just a date. In numerology, 1 + 3 + 6 = 10, the number of completion, but also of beginnings. The wheel begins to turn. Not because you forced it, but because you're ready. Life, in its wisdom, often moves in spirals, not lines. And now, you're returning to something, but with new eyes, new strength, new readiness. The collapse, tower, the hope, star, and the courage, strength, aren't separate events. They are stages of the same sacred unfolding. There's a concept often taught in quiet teachings that destruction is never separate from compassion. That the most profound form of growth is not adding more to ourselves, but letting go of what no longer serves. This letting go is sacred disintegration isn't failure. It's freedom. Just as a lotus rises only from muddy waters, so too must our clarity emerge from moments of surrender. Pain becomes a teacher. Change becomes a gift. And resistance melts into trust. So if June 13th feels strange, if you find yourself in a situation that feels like it's breaking apart, don't rush to fix it. Don't judge it. Simply breathe. Allow. Observe. What looks like collapse may actually be the beginning of an entirely new pattern of alignment. The universe doesn't destroy what's whole. It clears what blocks your light. And if something in you resonates with this message, if your heart has been sensing this shift before your mind could name it, I invite you to anchor that awareness. Say it out loud. Or write it below. I welcome every collapse with gratitude. Not because it's easy, but because you're choosing to meet your life as it is, with eyes open and a soul ready. And that changes everything. The journey that began on June 13th with unexpected revelations continues now into June 14, a day marked not by chaos, but by clarity disguised as challenge. What unfolds during this day is not meant to derail you, Leo, but to activate something ancient and unspoken within you. Think of this day as a mirror, a kind of sacred checkpoint where the universe gently watches not what happens to you, but how you respond. On June 14th, energetic tension may rise not from new problems, but from old ones resurfacing with sharper edges. You might find yourself revisiting an emotional wound you thought had long since closed. An unresolved relationship may reappear, or a financial concern that quietly lingered in the background might now step boldly into your awareness. These aren't coincidences. They are openings. Invitations. The very places where your past and your present meet and offer you a choice. There is a quiet wisdom that teaches, when the same lesson returns, it's not because you've failed. It's because you're strong enough now to meet it with a deeper understanding. The patterns that appear on this day, those inner knots of doubt, fear, avoidance, are not curses. They are keys. They mark the very threshold between reaction and transformation. And what determines your crossing is your willingness to pause. Instead of rushing into defense or retreat, this is a moment to stay. To breathe. To feel the discomfort without pushing it away. When we sit with a difficult moment, we loosen its grip. When we acknowledge a fear without judging it, we soften the very walls it hides behind. And here lies the subtle teaching of June 14th. Growth doesn't always arrive with fire or triumph. Sometimes it whispers through restraint, through stillness, through choosing awareness over reaction. You may find, Leo, that your dreams on the night before hold strange fragments or symbols. Write them down. Even the pieces that make no sense, especially those. Often, what we cannot interpret with logic is what speaks most directly to the subconscious. There may be a single image, a feeling, or even a color that stays with you through the morning. Don't dismiss it. Let it guide your intention for the day. Create space for yourself on this day. Light a white candle. Open a window to let in the morning sun. Burn something gentle, like sage or sandalwood, not to fix anything, but to witness the space around you shift. Energy responds not only to ritual, but to presence. To your awareness. To your choice to show up. The air today carries the frequency of challenge, yes, but beneath it is the hum of rebirth. Your job is not to conquer it, but to greet it. Just as a tree bends with wind rather than fighting it, you too are being asked to lean into flexibility. Resilience isn't resistance. It's responsiveness. The more you lean into trust, the more you'll begin to feel the subtle momentum building within and around you. June 14th is not a punishment. It is a reflection. And what it reflects is the growth you've already undergone. The very fact that you can observe the test, name the feeling, and choose your response, that is proof of your becoming. You are not the same person who once feared this discomfort. You are the one who sees it, breathes through it, and steps forward anyway. So if today feels heavy, uncertain, or charged, remember, the universe is not asking you to be perfect. It is simply offering you a chance to align your energy with faith instead of fear. And if that resonates with you, write it below. Let your voice anchor it into your body. Say it aloud if you need to. I choose faith over fear. In that choice, everything begins to shift. Following the tests and emotional waves of June 14th, something shifts again on June 15, not just around you, but within you. The air feels different. Possibility begins to hum just beneath the surface. And if you're truly attuned, you might feel it even before anything material happens, a quiet sense of anticipation, as if life itself is holding its breath, ready to hand you something meaningful. This is not an illusion. Energetically, something is ripening. And your ability to receive it depends not on what you've done, but on how open you are to what's next. The cards drawn for June 15th are both reassuring and electric. The Ace of Pentacles, a symbol of new material opportunities, stability, and tangible gifts, suggests the potential for financial openings. It may come as an invitation to collaborate, an idea that sparks suddenly and makes your heart race, or even an unexpected return like money owed finally being repaid. But paired with the Wheel of Fortune, this becomes more than just a lucky break. It's a karmic pivot, a shift in direction that's guided not by chance, but by alignment. The wheel doesn't spin aimlessly. It moves with rhythm, with timing, with perfect orchestration. The appearance of both these cards on this date reflects a rare intersection. The energy of new abundance meets the power of destiny in motion. You've already done the internal work, the clearing, the choosing, the surrendering. Now, the current is beginning to turn in your favor. But here's the catch. Sometimes opportunity shows up not with bright banners, but with quiet knocks. Astrologically, the moon enters Sagittarius on this day, awakening a sense of boldness, truth, and a desire for growth. This is a sign of expansion, especially in matters involving learning, exploration, and yes, finances. But expansion doesn't mean reckless movement. It means intentional risk. It asks that you trust your gut while remaining grounded. This is where the teaching deepens. Sometimes, what looks uncertain on the surface carries a deeper resonance. And the question becomes, can you tell the difference between fear and misalignment? You may be offered something on this day: a new connection, a proposal, a chance to invest in yourself. Your first instinct might be to hesitate, to overthink, to retreat into old habits of doubt. But pause for a moment. Breathe. Place a hand on your heart. Not everything that seems uncertain is dangerous. In fact, many of the most important transformations begin this way: unpolished, awkward, yet deeply alive. When you act from centered awareness instead of anxiety, you begin to move in rhythm with the larger intelligence of life. This is also a beautiful moment to do something physical to honor that opening. Write down a financial goal, not just a number, but how you want to feel when you achieve it. Create space for it. Open a savings account, start that online project, follow up on that connection you've been postponing. These small actions are not trivial. They are declarations. They say to the universe, I am ready to participate in my abundance. There's a quiet teaching that speaks to this very idea, that wealth, like peace, is not something we chase, but something we become available to. And availability begins with permission. When you allow yourself to receive, without shame, without self-sabotage, you honor your part in the greater flow. You step out of survival and into co-creation. So if any part of this speaks to you, if something in you feels seen or stirred, take a breath and say it out loud. Or leave it in the comments. I allow myself to become wealthy. Let it be more than words. Let it be a moment of truth. Because Leo, what's being offered to you now is more than just money. It's a turning of the wheel and a reminder that your path has always been leading here. As the energy of June 13th through 15 continues to unfold, something even more delicate begins to stir, not in your outer world, but within the private, quiet chambers of the heart. While the past days may have shaken foundations and awakened new possibilities in your material world, now the spotlight turns inward toward your emotional landscape, toward the way you love, and perhaps even more importantly, the way you allow yourself to be loved. This is not a random shift. The timing is precise. Cosmic patterns are not just mathematical, they are deeply compassionate. They reveal, nudge, and support us in moving closer to the truth we often hide from, that real love begins in our relationship with ourselves. During this window, the emotional field is unusually active, even if nothing seems to be happening on the surface. People from your past may reappear through messages, dreams, or even a passing memory that suddenly feels loud and vivid. You might find yourself remembering something someone said to you long ago, and only now, in this energy, does its meaning click into place. This is not regression. It's not about going backward. It's about reclaiming the parts of yourself that were left behind in old stories of pain, silence, or confusion. These moments aren't meant to trap you, they're here to help you release what's been frozen. The cards that speak to this energy, the Lovers and Judgment, offer a layered message. The Lovers, in its higher form, is not simply about romance or attraction. It's about conscious choice, choosing connection that is aligned, real, and free from illusion. It invites you to look at how you relate not only to others but to yourself. What version of love are you ready to grow into? Judgment complements this by representing awakening, not in a dramatic sense, but as a soft return to clarity. Together, these archetypes remind us that love doesn't rescue us. It reflects us. It shows us where we've healed and where we still ache. Sometimes, we search for love as if it's something missing. But in these days, you may begin to notice that real, sustainable love emerges most naturally when you stop trying to find it outside of yourself. When you speak kindly to yourself in the mirror. When you hold space for your disappointment without turning it into shame. When you realize that being lovable isn't something you earn, it's something you uncover. This is a powerful time to tend to your inner world with small, intentional acts. You might choose to write a letter to someone who hurt you, not to send, but to free yourself from the words you never said. Or perhaps you begin each morning looking in the mirror and saying 3 simple truths: I forgive you. I honor you. I love you. These aren't empty affirmations. They're seeds. When watered daily, they begin to shift the soil of your inner perception. You may be surprised how quickly your outer relationships begin to reflect these new roots. This space is also about recognizing what is ready to fall away. Maybe there's a relationship you've held on to in your mind, even after it's ended. Maybe there's a version of love you keep trying to recreate because it once felt safe, even though it never really fit. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. And in doing so, you make room for something far more true to arrive. There's a quiet understanding passed through many teachings, that liberation doesn't come from escaping pain, but from seeing it clearly and no longer being bound by it. Love becomes less about possession and more about presence. It becomes less about being chosen and more about choosing yourself again and again, from the inside out. If, while hearing this, someone comes to mind, someone who taught you, hurt you, or awakened something inside you, pause and gently hold that memory. Let it rise, not to stay, but to move. And when you're ready, write the first letter of their name in the comments below. It's a small gesture, but a powerful one, like opening a window and letting the past breathe out. That is how healing begins. Not all at once, but with a soft return to honesty. With a quiet, brave act of self-love. After the emotional clearing and awakening of the heart in the previous days, June 15th brings with it something subtler but no less significant, a shift that speaks not in words, but in sensations. You may find yourself waking with a heaviness that doesn't quite feel like fatigue, or feeling unexpectedly emotional while hearing a simple melody. Some of you may sleep more deeply than usual, dreaming vividly, even strangely. Others may feel oddly distant from their routines, as if they're watching themselves move through the day rather than participating in it. These aren't signs of something wrong. They're signs of something changing. What's happening now is a form of realignment and internal restructuring that involves not only the mind and emotions, but the body itself. When your energy shifts, your physical form responds. The nervous system softens, muscles release stored tension, and cellular memory begins to reorganize itself. This is often what's occurring when you feel off, in ways that can't be explained by external circumstances. It's not always dramatic. More often, it's quiet and subtle, like a reboot happening in the background while you continue to function. This process is deeply natural. Like a snake shedding old skin or a flower blooming after a long season of stillness, your system is adjusting to a higher vibration, a more open state of being. This doesn't require force or effort, it only asks for your attention and your gentle cooperation. The more you listen, the more you notice that your body is not separate from your growth. It carries every belief you've ever held, every fear you've ever swallowed, and every moment of peace you've ever cultivated. So when something shifts inside, it shows up here first, in your posture, your breath, your appetite, your dreams. Rather than fight these sensations, this is the moment to create space for them. Choose simplicity. Avoid caffeine or excess sugar, as both can overstimulate a system that's already recalibrating. Instead, start your day with warm water mixed with ginger and honey, something grounding, soothing, and supportive to your digestion and inner heat. Take a short walk in silence under the early morning light. Don't rush. Just walk. Let your steps be intentional, your breath steady. If you can, leave your headphones behind. There is wisdom in the quiet. Even the rhythm of your footsteps can become a kind of moving meditation. Color, too, plays a role in energetic support. During this time, surround yourself with shades that nurture the clarity and stability you're seeking. Soft silver white encourages emotional purification. Light jade green calms the heart and strengthens your immune response. And golden yellow sunlight in color form restores your sense of inner warmth and joy. These are more than aesthetic choices, they are subtle influences that shape your emotional field, much like the environment shapes the growth of a tree. There is a quiet understanding in many inner traditions. When the mind becomes still and the heart open, the body naturally begins to heal. Healing doesn't always come through doing more. Sometimes it comes through resting wisely, eating mindfully, walking gently. And in this space, new insight arises not from struggle, but from stillness. So if you've been feeling a little different physically, emotionally, even energetically, know that this is part of your unfolding. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are shedding outdated frequencies and adjusting to the expansion you've been calling in. This is what it looks like to be restructured, not as punishment, but as preparation. If you feel this truth echo somewhere inside, even faintly, let it be known. Speak it into form. Comment below, "I am awakening, I am light." Not to prove it to anyone else, but to remind yourself that transformation is already happening, even in the silence. Especially in the silence. And so, dear Leo, here we are standing at the edge of something greater than a prediction, greater than a pattern. Between June 13th and 15th, you've been offered more than just information. You've been invited into an awakening. A realignment. A remembering of who you are beneath the noise, beneath the fear, beneath the narratives that were never truly yours to carry. The question now is simple but powerful. Will you walk back into the comfort of what you've known, or will you step forward into the light of what you've always been becoming? What's been called terrible in this reading is not here to harm you. It's here to humble you, open you, and guide you closer to your core. Sometimes the most profound blessings arrive wrapped in disruption. The collapse makes way for clarity. The silence creates space for truth. The discomfort reveals the places in you that are ready to stretch, to breathe, to grow. These are not punishments. These are passages. And you are not being pushed into them, you are being called. Throughout this journey, you felt the echo of something ancient rising within you. A soft strength. A wiser voice. A quiet knowing that says, there is more. More peace. More presence. More possibility. But only you can decide what to do with that knowing. No one else can walk this path for you. No one else can open the gate that leads to the next version of your life. That key has always been in your hands. So I ask you now, not as a voice in a video, but as a companion on this path. What are you willing to release, right now, to make space for your own expansion? What version of yourself are you finally ready to outgrow? What belief, what habit, what old wound no longer deserves to shape your future? And perhaps more importantly, what would your life look like if you chose faith over fear, softness over control, and action over hesitation? You've heard the messages. You've felt the shifts. Now, the question becomes, will you act on what you felt? Because transformation doesn't happen by watching. It happens by moving. By choosing. By practicing even imperfectly what you know now to be true. So take one small step today. Speak gently to yourself. Follow through on that financial habit. Reflect on a dream. Write the letter. Light the candle. Walk in silence. Set the boundary. Say the affirmation. Allow your body to rest. Say no when it matters. Say yes when it's time. And whatever you dodo it as the version of you who is no longer afraid of your own light. I want to thank you deeply for being here, for sharing this sacred moment with me and with the community we are co-creating. Every single view, every like, every comment, and every subscription to Eternal Mindfulness helps keep this space alive, not just for you, but for thousands of others who are also walking this path of healing, growth, and awakening. Your presence isn't just appreciated, it's powerful. It's felt. If this video resonated with you, let your voice be part of this living energy. Comment below, what are you ready to release? What is your truest wish for this month? What part of this message spoke most clearly to your heart? And if you feel called, please like this video to amplify its energy, and share it with someone who needs to hear what you've just experienced. Let's spread light together, one soul at a time. And don't forget to subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness if you haven't already, so you never miss another message that might be meant just for you. You're not alone in this, Leo. You never were. The universe has not forgotten you. In fact, it's been waiting for you to remember who you truly are. Until next time, stay awake, stay kind, and stay luminous. You are the light you've been waiting for.